Hey everyone, this is Livia Caudell, CEO and founder of Conscious Wealth Builders, and you are live here on the Conscious Wealth Builders Online Summit, and I am here with Mr. Berny Dohrmann, the CEO of CEO Space. Absolutely extraordinary man, and we've been chit-chatting it up a little bit here, sharing about who you are, who your dad is, and this summit really is about what's possible bringing a higher level of consciousness to business. And you and your family are the embodiment of that. That's, I believe, why you guys have been sent here to this planet and what your life's work has been about. So can you just share a little bit about who you are, who your dad is, and we'll go from there.
Well, in my personal history, my father founded the human potential industry in the 40s forward and brought everybody together. Clement Stone, William Penpatrick, Napoleon Hill, who worked for my dad's company till he died. I grew up on the lap of Napoleon Hill, never knew a time I wasn't there. If you're Landmark, I grew up with Werner. Werner was one of my dad's mentors and teachers all his life. And was a course designer for human potential classes like World seminars, Landmark Education in the early days, and with Werner's work with LifeSpring. But he did a lot of corporate training for major corporations as well. And so I grew up with Earl Nightingale and Martin Luther King and Jack Kennedy and Walt Disney and just Bucky Fuller and the thought leaders of the last century. And the top of the hourglass is Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield and Mark Hansen and Harv and John Asheroff and so forth. And so Dad taught the bottom, all those that came before, the shoulders of giants we stand on. And I've coached all of the top that you might work with and know their names. So it's been such an honor for me to continue working with thought leaders and help put in ways in which we can make sure you don't have the same tennis shoe, same divorce, and you do have the potential in you uncorked. And we're getting better at it. It's not perfect yet, but boy, it's getting good. You just do not have to compromise. And Lydia, that's what your life's about, is making sure they don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you're the CEO of CEO Space. Tell us about CEO Space. So I actually just learned about it. I was sharing with you a little bit ago that I just heard about CEO Space for the first time in March of this year. And I was sharing with this woman about conscious wealth builders and transforming the planet through business. And she was like, girlfriend, you got to get to CEO Space. And so now here I am meeting Dave Phillipson, Global Director of CEO Space, who then introduced me to you. So I don't believe in coincidences. I believe the universe has put you in my path, definitely to participate in CEO Space, but also to collaborate with you and really forward this movement that you're creating and up to.
Yeah, when you look at CEO Space, we're in 140 countries. We're ranked as the #1 business conference in the world, the one you can't afford to miss, year after year by Forbes magazine. Hardest list to get on, period. And we're #1 on it. And we don't advertise, market, and we're in 140 countries. So just our members kind of are enormous and spread it out. It's the most exclusive CEO club in the world. If you go CEO Space International, look at films in your industry and your space, and you'll see that it's a place where billionaires hang out with millionaires, hang out with those just starting out in every industry, and then they're experts to help you go all the way. And they'll work on your inside, outside, all your sides, privately, one-on-one. It's very customized to you where everything else isn't. You're in a big room and just watching stuff. In our world, you're about 70% of the time in a small room by yourself with the experts you chose, getting your skill up and your contacts up and their circle helping you. So we're hooking you up, we're building the business, we build businesses, we build dreams, we make them come true, we make them go forward, and we do it as you have spent most of your time talking to us about conscious capitalism. We call it cooperative capitalism because I have two careers. I was on one side an investment banker economist running the fastest growing, one of the largest broker dealers in the world, an investment bank with thousands of stockbrokers, publicly traded, operating in 100 countries for 22 years of my life. And then 30 years corporate training with CEO Space, where I put all that Wall Street work to advantage and put it into your life. But you know, as a fundamentalist, I've seen if you are waking up the planet, you're part of the millions of conscious awake that are out in the marketplace, these conscious culturals, then you're sitting on top of the most pus-filled, negative, broken system that you have to work inside of to do anything financially. And until we fix that, we can't have a conscious world.
Yeah.
And so that's what our mission is. We're trying to be a revolution, you know, it's a real revolution. Like if you join CO Space, you're a revolutionary, and you're going to help lead the world into a better way. And the better way is to get rid of socialism and communism and competitive capitalism, which is corrupt and sucks, and stop a world that has all the food to feed 2 billion this year that will die into the age of 30 screaming while the food is in silos rotting, so we support prices for farmers around the world. And the system is broken and we plow it in the sea. Why wouldn't we distribute that food? Why wouldn't we distribute it so those people don't die this year? How many Mozarts, how many Gates, how many unbelievable talents? And if you think this planet can't support its population, this planet can support trillions. It renews itself, it renews its energy. We can have buckyballs like you see at Epcot floating in the sea with cities of 5 million, and they're floating at different depth levels and coming up when it's good weather to park and be up there in the sun. And they can be self-sustaining, unlimited, and we can do low-rise construction that's 100 stories underground, and we'll never have damages from hurricanes. And with fiber optics and holograms, we won't even know we're underground. And the world at the top becomes a park. And that's what Disney foresaw, but we're not doing it. So the world can support it, but we just need a new economics that will make us have fair, full partnership. It's so ridiculous to have all this impoverishment when the planet is the wealth, and we have plenty of wealth for everybody. So
That's amazing. I literally was moved to tears as you were speaking. I really get your heart and your stand. I really got.
But
like, I
conscious
really got
folks
that.
have to go back. I mean, a lot of us want to go to the trees and nature and get back into. You've got to live in super change. My new book is called Super Change: How to Prosper in Super Change, and it's coming at you. You have to adapt. You can't stay behind.
Yeah.
And when you talk about super change, what I see in the labs and what you see are just so different. What you read about and what I'm with, where I'm at, you just can't imagine. So there are intelligent robots that look like her. And they're smart, self-educating and repairing and rebuilding the next one. So they're going to be new creatures of intelligence on the earth, and they're not just her. We happen to make them look, so we're happy to be with them. But can robots marry each other? Can robots marry wetware like me? Say she's a robot, can I marry her? She's intelligent. Can I have a relationship? How do we own property? What happens if we have a divorce?
Yeah.
When she owns her own car and gets a driver's license? What are her security clearances? And we're going to have to deal with this.
So is
Now,
that one of the concerns that you speak about in
What-
this book?
robots are going to do all the work. You're not going to be needed to work. All the work we do and worried about jobs, that's not what we should do. Humans should create. We should create art. We should create inventions. Robots will create them too. But we're not in a competition. We should just cooperate. It's like, I have this great idea. Maybe the robot comes up with a way to finish it. I mean, so I don't want to call them robots anymore. I want to call them intelligent life. And software is going to be as intelligent as the machineware. Software by itself. And we're just going to have a new aspect of having longevity, no disease, being able to go discover the stars, being able to protect our planet from incoming events. It's very exciting, really. And that humans won't have to work and wealth can be distributed to them. So governments can distribute the wealth to all of you so you can go create. And it'll be a new kind of economics. And it's long overdue, and we're going to have peace on earth and but we have to cooperate. If we compete, we're doomed. So anybody thinks competition is good, let's look at it religiously from all the perspectives. There's up there, I don't care if you're Hindu, Buddhist, what you're Nibbana. Up there, is there any competition? Is it unconditional love? Is it unbelievably the way you always want to spend eternity? Now there's down there. Now down there is filled with what? Gnashing of teeth. Down there is filled with never-ending competition. Everybody's stealing what everybody is inventing and biting on each other while they do it. Why do we make down there the way this world is right now? What's wrong with that picture? How conscious is that? So the one virus on your brain, on consciousness that you're trying to solve is competition. If you get cooperation in your home and get competition out, you have the sweetest home life and parenting you can imagine.
So where would people start? How would they start creating that in their life?
They start going to events like yours. They start getting into your summits. They start really plowing into the tools and tactics to change your mind.
Yeah.
Because you've got buggy software and we get reinfected virusly. So let me give you two attributes of competition so you can know who a competitive infected brain is. First, they are always in groups and privately, and they always are punishing diversity. So in one form or another, they're rolling their eyes because you're Jewish, or you're Catholic, or you're gay or transvestite, or you're something. And they're not celebrating diversity in all of its forms. They're not. Second, they talk about the past 3 weeks, 3 months of memory, judging people, places, and things. They're always telling how they were screwed, they were the victim, they're blaming, and they elevate their self-loathing to higher esteem through the only way they can, by damning others. And those that are awake, those are in cooperation, that don't have the competitive virus, they find that very boring. They find that as lower level energy.
Yeah, as you're speaking, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, nowhere on my radar does that even exist for me, right?
And you watch your circle, people that are talking about
Yeah.
the future and what they're going to create, always talking about the future and never taking magnificence away from another spirit. There may be broken spirits, but it's not their fault. It's just, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, means they're infected with competition. Think of your idea of Satan as first competition with the maker. So I have free will and I have to choose first state. Am I sane or insane? If I'm insane, I say, I'm separate from you, I'm not. I have my own light independent of you, I don't. I can create my own followers, I can't. And I'm going to steal yours. Now I want equal billing on the worship. It's insane. Your frequency makes you go into another place. Now you're in the insane asylum and you're separate from the Creator. God didn't feel sorry or hurt. That's an attribute of free will. You had the choice. You made a choice. Then the second attribute hits. You never take responsibility for your choice. So God made you go there. So now you hate God even more and you're in rage all the time and you want others to join you in the hatred. Now that's insane. We shouldn't label ISIS and other factors around the world like Boko in Nigeria as religious or factors. Stop doing it. They're insane, like Hitler was insane. Early on, label insanity for what it is. And those that are insane, we have to remove from society. We either put them in special places or we push the delete button, because we can't allow them to, we can self-defend knowing we could never harm the soul, and the soul will leave and it doesn't go to where it should be because it's insane. And its state, vibratory frequency, can't be with the rest of us that are sane. So those that want to remove the virus of insanity, identify it by its name. It is competition. Sit at night, instead of saying, "Be gone, Satan," "Be gone, Beelzebub," "Be gone, how negative thoughts," go ahead. Just sit at night, lie back and say, "Be gone the competition," and watch how your body feels. Watch how you feel. And don't try and teach people. Christ said, don't cast your pearl before swines. Don't teach those that are infected by the virus. They are not teachable and you're not their teacher. Love those souls and feel sorry for the choice they made. Turn around and be with those that are not infected by the virus. They'll lift you up. They'll make you buoyant. They'll help you do your dreams. They'll keep encouraging you. And the others can't and won't.
Wow.
Now some that are seekers, that are seeking to grow, they can get rid of the virus But if you're working with symptom, you'll never do it. How many people go to $40,000, $80,000 of human potential classes and they never get out of the loop of the multiple divorces? They're not okay with their kids. They're in addiction behaviors. They are coming with abuse patterns. They are having the same tennis shoe and used car. Why aren't they having the success? And I'll give you a final piece of wisdom. I don't want to go too deep, but as long as I got one film for a very conscious, awake audience, let me give you the clue. Imagine that you die. You're done. So here she goes. She pops out and she looks like herself because she's familiar with herself. But eventually she'll know her real nature and she won't be a man or a woman. And she won't be in this body like she is now as an individual construction. And she will be a breathing orb of light, just like the maker of everything. This illuminated, unbelievable orb of light. And she'll go through her tunnel and she'll go into a viewing room. Think of it as a viewing room. It's much better than that, but think of it as a viewing room. And she's sitting in the room and she's pierced by the God light. That's the projector. And out of her in 360 degrees is coming this illumination on screens, creating lives. And we're in the fourth dimension. If I had a piece of paper, we couldn't stand up. We'd be flat on the paper because we'd be in the second dimension. The fourth, we can stand up and walk around, but that's not very much movement compared to the sixth dimension, the eighth dimension, the 12th dimension, the hundreds that are still being created. We can't imagine the higher states of energy and how we can live in those states. And we project them from one soul at the same time, all of the lives. And when you look around, she looks around, everyone that's crossed her path, everyone is in the viewing room. Roger Salam's in the viewing room. I'm in the viewing room. Her dad's in the viewing room. Her mom's in the viewing room. Her sister's in the viewing room. They're not here. They're a projection. And because she left, she'll project on her sister's screen till the day she dies to help her on her projection. She's sitting right next to her, high-fiving spiritually on how well she's doing. And that's where we all are. We're all in the viewing room. Now you're trying to project a new life from Think and Grow Rich and your $40,000 of human potential classes from the screen of the projection. Go to the viewing room and project the life you want. Don't do it from the movie, do it from the projector.
Wow.
When you make that shift, you will think and be rich. So I just gave you the keys to the kingdom, which I hope you share and spread around and make go viral. If one thing makes you push a group list and share this to give Lydia that viral around the world where 1 billion see the message, could it be this one shift where you got the competitive virus and how to have your clean spirit, competition free, project your life just the way you want it? Watch what happens when you do that.
Wow. My mind's like totally blown right
good
now. You're so awesome.
Is that good?
Absolutely brilliant. I've got a question because, there's some people who talk about there's healthy competition. What do you think about that? I mean, competition.
I've just
period,
met with one of the top guys at the NFL. And I explained to him what we've done with Super Bowl teams by being engaged by the owners to come in and train those teams. We start months early, saying you're not in competition. And it takes weeks because they don't believe that and they're doing just what you did.
Yeah.
There's healthy competition. I said, no, what you're doing is demonstrating that your cooperation is of a quality that when it's reached is undefeatable. And you need the other team to demonstrate where they need to improve their quality to match or even begin to play at your level. And if you lose to them, their cooperation's better than yours and you better find out how. And there is no standout starring here. You guys have to move into a game where you can't wait for the other team. You're not going out there to annihilate them. You're going out to show your cooperation is undefeatable. They'll come at you competitively and you'll rip them to shreds. And our teams never lose. So he asked me in the biggest NFL conference coming up in several months, would I come and get this to the whole NFL? because they're seeing it's actually working theoretically, but now they know the source of it and they want to get the tools and tactics, because we're where it meets the road. We're not airy-fairy. We're how do we get those tools in a Super Bowl team through reps and repetition, how they play in the team and the coaches model culture, and it becomes a cooperative mindset, which is always undefeatable. So Coke is not going to go to war with Pepsi and steal its market share. Coke, if it's going to be a great company and be here in the future, is not going to poison people, is going to have integrity, is not going to be a lack of integrity in anything, and is going to obsess on its customers, their health and what they want in taste, and they're going to make sure and give it to them. They're not going to be a company that puts aspartame back into the drink, and they're going to get their customers because they obsess on their customers. If you want to read a secular book, read, it's a bestseller now and will be for a few years, People versus Profits, written by a billionaire. People versus Profits, my highest recommendation. It'll change your thought process and your life, and what's in it is so simple, very small book, and it's all about cooperative principles versus competitive principles, cooperative cultures versus competitive principles.
Wow.
In competitive principles, we have fear, pyramid, punishment, exploitation. In a cooperative model, we have hub management facilitating customer glow to go at the highest levels, and we have a lot of renewal against that, and all the stakeholders of the dentist office or a fortune company, the wagon wheel spokes, have power pushed out, not up. Power is pushed out, and so people can make decisions all over the power grid because they all think like owners, and they care and obsess about their customers, not their competition.
Wow.
Competition is obsessing about its competition.
This is so
trying to
amazing.
steal from them, trying to outdo them, trying to destroy them. And the great companies like Amazon, who have no competition, they're not obsessing about Walmart. They're going and delivering packages by drones. Now Walmart has to. I mean, they don't care what Walmart does. They care what their customer wants, and they're going to give it to them. That's what Apple does, Pinterest does, Google does, Zappos does. That's what all the cool companies do that are passing all the wealth of generations in the competitive format, because their cultures are cooperative, not competitive. And people don't want to leave. They're switched on, turned on employees, and down to the mailroom they get stock for working in the company. Who doesn't love that place and want to be working there?
Absolutely. That's so amazing. Thank you so much for driving that home. And you just cut it to the core. I mean, it's black or white. You're either competing or collaborating. There is no in between.
Competition is a virus on consciousness. It's wrong at Harvard, teaching cooperative theory. My book, Redemption, The Cooperation Revolution, tells everyone in education, if you're in education, get the book. President Obama, when he was in office, quoted from that book 5 times, wrote me a handwritten letter. I just got a letter yesterday from the Senate Finance Chairman, Orrin Hatch, the senator who can't be bought, who has the most integrity in the entire history of the Senate, and who news goes to every time there's a crisis, because he'll tell you the truth. But I'm saying he wrote me this great letter about the book Redemption, but it's in the hands of Netanyahu. It's in the hands of Hillary and Jeb Bush. It's in the hands of all the thought leaders around the world at the top and the major fortune leadership in companies. It's written for them to change their companies, change their culture. But you can change your marriage. You can change your parenting. You can change your family. But you certainly can change your business if you're a business owner. Or you can change the environment you're in, who you play with, who you choose time with, how you put your families together. And, Napoleon Hill said in Outwitting the Devil, if you've read that, his last book, 1937, locked up until 1970, released on our stage, CO Space, for the first time, 2010. I got the first copy. I cried when I read it. But he talked about cooperative theory back in 1937. And he said, you have to guard the circle of your thinkers to have the quality of life you want. And then you have to have a mechanism to guard the guards. Because the competitive influence and thinking, that contaminated spirit that's got the insanity, will creep back in. And you may feel a threat And when you're threatened, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Walk away. Don't get into litigations and all these different things. If someone threatens your physical being, I mean, you have to defend yourself from the insane. But, you know, you're going to be protected because your energy field is not going to let them come in. You're not going to be in that. You know, it's those who live by the sword die by the sword. It's conscious. And say, well, what happens when a beautiful nun in holy contemplation gets raped by a bunch of Nicaraguan rebels or something? There's tornadoes in free will, folks. They're accidents. God isn't preordaining that. They're just, you know, eddies in the free will thing. Her soul didn't die. She's in the viewing room. She's fine. They're having some trouble because they're more insane than they were before. And because they killed an innocent spirit, it does things to them. It actually has consequences spiritually. So they just get further and further in solitary confinement in the viewing room. And whatever they did to her, they'll be tortured when they die. They'll have these terrible things happen to them as a consequence, unless they wake up and revisit their karma. But I'm saying it's all just a beautiful theater. And remember, at the end of the day, we're here to take this rose that only is here. And it's not that I smell it. It just isn't. It's I give it to Lydia and I give it to Roger. And we both smell the rose. And the sharing of the smelling of the rose is for eternity. How many shared experiences of this garden, this magical place, are you putting in your life? Because what you do in your life has nothing to do with your happiness. What you are in your life is what does your happiness. So it's your being, you know, and you choose, man. You can choose to be happy. I always say, be depressed, be angry, but don't become angered. Don't become depressed. Don't become any of the things where you're fearful. Let fear wash through you as a fear storm. It's just always say it's a passing energy. If you're having struggle with money, it's a passing energy. It's not forever. That'll come and it'll start and stop. And you can catch up quick with money. You can catch up quick with companionship. You can catch up quick with all the things that you desire in your life. Go to the viewing room, and where you catch up quick is be happy now, and you'll attract happiness. Who's deciding if you're not happy? You are. Focus your attention, because you're alive in the Godhead, in your divinity, in your attention. You're only alive with me now. Be here now. Don't wander. Don't do electronics. But when you go to do something like this, put it on airplane mode. Stop the addiction. Get out of the digital addiction. And while you're in airplane mode, what I want you to do is I want you to swell in your heart. Take in the energy that we're sharing right now. Let it fill you up. And understand the power where if you're not being happy, you will not attract happiness, because your attention is on your problems. And you'll attract more problems. You'll always attract more problems. Refocus your attention on your solutions and hold on your solutions and joy that you have them and they're coming. One idea, what's God's capital? Because your God never filed for Chapter 11 reorganization under the federal bankruptcy law. So this guy is nuts about you, or gal, and she loves you. And here is this Godhead who is just crazy about the kids. And this wonderful divinity, you know, in you, right? And you're sitting there made in the image and likeness with attention. And if you focus, and you're asking, prayer is really asking for what? God's capital, which is reigning inspiration. That's God's capital, inspiration. One idea and you don't get divorced. One idea and you don't go bankrupt. One idea and that kid is not doing drugs. One idea. And it'll come right in your life. Focus on the request for the solution and be in joy that it's coming. And you'll attract only joy and solutions. And stop and cease the addiction to focus on your pain and misery and problems, because you will create more of that. And the people that are joining you in it. And that's like hell on earth, folks. You do it to yourself. Get in the viewing room and project the life you want.
This is so awesome.
It's a little long, I'm sorry. I'm
No,
rambling.
don't be sorry.
Apologize. Forgive me for rambling to you.
No,
I may
it
die.
is-
I want to get this into your life before something happens to me. I'm old, you know.
And this is exactly why I'm here. I'm clear my mission and purpose on this planet is to create new systems for the world such that we have a world that works and is thriving. And to really be the stand and the leader for the millennials.
Your summits are the mechanism, and it's beyond the millennials are old. They're your group up.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the Y's and Z's. I mean, and the X's. You know, the X's are 3 to, or the Y's are 3 to 12. You know, and the X's are 12 up to 20, 21. Now, the X's do not use email. They look at it as long format text. All right? The Y's don't think email will be here when they're adults.
Yeah.
They use Snapchat and videos, and they don't use text at all, very seldom. And in the future, it's all going to be emoji anyway, so they're not going to even know the English language. It'll just say, I heart you, and so forth, and you won't have words like we have, and it's going that way now. I'm saying, so these changes are happening generationally,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, these youngers, the younger you get, they want cooperation, no competition.
100%.
They can't stand it. They won't work in it. They won't be retained by it. They
Yeah.
won't. You can't. They don't want families that way. They don't. You know. They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want competitive capitalism. They want less space and less obligation so they can travel.
Yeah.
They want experiences and freedom. They don't want to be careworn with debt and stuff. And they have much more freedom in mind for their lives. They're making amazing choices. They're quite different though. And the new economics are all going to revolve around this generation of you down. The summit is where you get tools, tactics, and you're able to be with each other. Now you're doing a call around the world to form community, because what's the end of the day, what we all treasure, what we're starving for? Social capital.
Absolutely.
We want to be awakes with each other. We want massive social capital. And the summit is an architecture to build massive social capital where we can come together and work in integrity. If I cooperate with you, I have to be in integrity. There's a crisis of integrity. It's not a crisis of leadership, because you can't have good leadership without integrity. And if you cooperate with me and show me integrity, I'll always be there for you. And so once we get our integrity right and our social capital, groups and circles, the world falls into a cooperation that's thriving collaboration. And this is the new capitalism, cooperative capitalism. This is the new way that we won't have wars and skirmishes and fight. And anyone that is punishing people because of the way they worship God, or their views are different in any way, is just insane. It's an insanity. It's an old model of insanity. And there are fewer and fewer brains that can get away with it because we're all connected by this.
Yeah.
And we see it in real time while we're eating. And we can't see babies and mommy. A mom wants to leave ISIS. And she asks her son, can I leave? Can I just leave quietly? I'm a good Muslim, and can I just leave? And the next morning while she's sleeping, that 24-year-old comes in and beheads her. That's insane, folks. That's not a religion. That's not a faith. That's not in the Quran, which I study. That's insanity, just like it was with Hitler. It's insane. And so, master race, master faith, our diversity is from God and is the most holy thing we've got. I'm thankful to my bone marrow. We're not all eating Chinese food. I want some Filipino and Italian. I want some German with the gravies. I mean, our diversity is so magical. Who would ever want to shrink it? I want to grow it. And that there's a transvestite gay, and that's the way they're having joy and love. We're going to kill people because they love each other.
Yeah.
All right, that's insane, folks. It's insane. Get rid of the insanity.
Right. Oh, so good. What I really hear you saying, I mean, I hear so many different pieces to this conversation, and it really starts with ourselves, right?
It's a revolution, and in faith, all faith-based. Celebrate the way everybody worships. Stop, I'm the only way to heaven. That is insane. I mean, it's just insane. So you can't go against thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of near-death experiences where every single person, Jew, atheist little kids, atheist 4-year-olds, see their parents, talk about conversations, go to the light, go through the tube, do the life review. You can't be all of us just brain chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you the miracles in those stories if you read them over 100 years. And when they get to whatever their spirit mentor is, the Christ they need to see, why did they have so many religions fighting down there? He's never upset. He's laughing. It's always joy over there. He's laughing like Santa Claus. And he's going, because they needed it at the time.
Yeah.
They needed it at the time. Be the best Mormon. Be the best Shiite. Be the best Wahhabi. Be the best Sunni. Celebrate each other. Celebrate the way you worship God. Be the best Hindu. Be the best Buddhist. Be the best Mormon, Catholic, Protestant. Be the best Jewish. Be the best anything.
That's beautiful. As you're creating that right now, I see so much love that is possible.
Tell me about your dress. Tell me about your song. Tell me about your sport. Tell me about your culture. Tell me about your family. Tell me about what you like in art. Tell me about how you worship God. I do it this way. It's so interesting how you do it. It's so interesting. So stop punishing diversity because it's not of God. It's insane. And it's insane religiously. So I'm looking for the United Nations of religion to get that concept and have a real UN of faith and have a member of that in every cabinet and stop them from war all over the world, and we'll know who is a cooperative culture and who is not by who puts the UNR, the United Nations of Religion, ambassador in their cabinet. That's where faith will have power, because we need your moral compass. But celebrate how you all worship and stop fighting and putting everybody at endless crusades back and forth.
So I really hear oneness and unity.
The one that has made you all folks doesn't care how you call his name, like you think. You're just a divine orb of light, and you're never going to die. And the only thing that is going to separate you from your source is if you decide under free will that you are in some way going to take power for everything, and the power that comes from your source is not your ever-ready battery. I mean, if you make an insane decision as a free will creature, you'll be in the insane asylum. Can't help you there. Now, you know who they are. You can see them in the world, and I'm sorry for them, but they're not going to be in my life, and I'm not going to spend time with them. My time is not going to be with them.
Yeah. Can you speak on? Because there's this whole movement, conscious capitalism, right? So the CEO co-founder of Whole Foods, John Mackey, and Raj Sisodia, they wrote a book called Conscious Capitalism, and they really speak to Whole Foods being a very conscious capitalistic company.
Yeah.
And they're very profitable, and there's a lot of companies that are going green, eco-friendly, sustainable.
Sure.
They're
Exactly.
all about making a difference, and they're wildly successful. So it's like, there's this education that's being taught in business schools and has been for a long time to focus on profit maximization. And they left out of the equation that it's really bringing a tremendous value to the customers and also treating your employees like family and really bringing integrity to the business. And so there's kind of been this, this movement that's happening is that you can bring this consciousness to business and be extremely successful.
Whole food is a culture. It's not a financial system. So you have to reform Wall Street. Remember, I was on Wall Street as an investment banker like Smith Barney. I was in the inside. I know how it works. And you've seen The Big Short. And I'm just telling you, if you haven't, go look at it. That has to be reformed. That's laws. And so we have to get away from a set of laws. And I don't have time on this film to tell you how economics works, unfortunately. And I'm an investment banker economist. But our economic system's broken. We need a constitutional Congress of the G100 nations for 3 years to form a new global set of trading rules and regulatory rules so that we could have conscious capitalism as an economic model for the world. Then we'll feed everybody, we'll have a soaring trade, everything will be great. Now, you want to have sustainable profits. It's different than profit maximization at any cost. Sustainable profit, we may take some maximized profits down a bit to make sure we're sustainable in our profits, which is much better for shareholders. And in cooperative capitalism, we focus on sustainability of profits like Whole Food. And we do that because when we are sustainable in our profits, and I'm back to people versus profits. An example would be Southwest Airlines. So here's a system that has all sorts of functions. It has to work a certain way, but their culture is much more cooperative than, say, other airlines in general. All right, and they have happy people joking on the plane. They're picking up all the trash. They have resisted all the efforts to tag you for bags and charge you a change fee when you make a late change in your booking. They have kept their price model and obsessed with their customer. Guy's coming to get the airplane. He's coming from LA. He's got to go to Phoenix. They're going to take his 3.5-year son off life support because the crackhead stepfather of his daughter, who was smoking the meth pipe, beat that little boy into a coma, and he's going to die now. And she wants to be why her daughter, when that little boy, his grandson, has to stop breathing from this so he can take her as she drops in his arms and hold her, but he can't make the plane. TSA, LA, he's 18 minutes late for the plane, running down to the last Southwest gate with tears streaming down his face. And he gets to the gate and there's nobody there except this man standing with his hands behind his back. And he comes up and he said, why are you crying, sir? And he goes, I've missed my flight. And he goes, sir, I'm the pilot on this flight. You haven't missed the flight. You're my most important passenger. This flight's not going anywhere till you got here. I am so sorry for your loss. Now we're going to make sure you get there in time.
Wow.
Now that, he had a decision to make, and he could make it. Southwest let him make it. That's people versus profits. When you get that, you're starting to move to cooperative capitalism.
I have goosebumps all over my body. This is so profound. It's really moving, and the world needs it.
That's what we have to get our companies to. We have to move this awful, terrible, bottom of the hourglass system of rules in politics and get nations to change capitalism. I'll give you two big tools. Central banks are not part of government. They're the first non-government organizations. They're a bunch of crooks that print your money supply and charge interest to you. Central banks need to have their systems preserved, merged back into treasury of the people, where there's audits and accountability and oversight. They brought us all the problems and they profit from all the problems. Merge central banks back to treasury and you'll do more to get cooperative capitalism than any single thing you could do. Second, change the reporting laws for all public companies to report their earnings every 6 months. It's insane in a digital age to make a big head of a company think 3 weeks to an analyst report, 4 weeks to an earning. Then I'm having profit maximization. Makes you crazy. You can't do cooperative capitalism. Everybody's speculating on stock prices. We need long-term investment. We don't need 2.7 trillion in stock buybacks, which is what we just have been having. They're not investing in plant equipment jobs and you're having a great country or a great global village. They're investing in maximized profits and greed machine. And just the wealthiest people are getting fantastically wealthier by cheating. That we're in casino capitalism. Casino capitalism. We need to get back to real capitalism that's cooperative, transparent, accountable, and has no secrets. When we get that, you'll have prosperity across the board for all of us.
I like how you said get back to. So was there a time where this was the real, actual kind of capitalism? This is what capitalism was built on, were these principles, and we just got
We
out
had
of
the biggest
hand,
experiment of it in the world. I mean, we had all sorts of things we did wrong. Slavery's wrong, how we treated natives was wrong, but we did things with the natives over time in certain pockets of humanity for periods of 100 years where we went and cleared each other's stones, sunk each other's wells, put in each other's barns. People came from miles around and circled that new person, and they stayed for 5 months, and they made sure they could get through the winter. We can do that in chat rooms online. We can do it through the summit and conscious capitalism. Let's make a digital sink each other's well and get each other's home built. And let's help all of us get through the winter. No child should be hungry. And we can do it in this world, and we can change capitalism, and it's not too big if all of us start coming together. And we are. We're not going to tolerate this anymore. Start asking yourselves, is that a conscious capitalist running for office? Make sure and vote for them.
So amazing. So First of all, I just want to acknowledge you for your time, your love, your commitment.
I love all of you.
Seriously, like just being in your presence is an honor. It really is. And I'm promising to carry on your legacy.
You are. You're the generation. You take it on and take it up. Become a master of redemption and bring it out to the world. And I'm going to get a Nobel Prize for redemption, the cooperation revolution, about 300 years after I'm gone.
Yeah.
The world will be ready then.
And I'll go to collect that
You
for
collect it for me. My honor.
And I'll put it on your
Say,
tombstone, Bernie.
I knew him. Here's the film.
Or we'll let September do that.
Here's the film at 11.
Anyways, it's an honor. So 3 things. Make sure you check out CEO Space. Definitely get the book, Redemption, Cooperative Revolution, and then your new book, which is Super Change.
It's how to prosper in the super change market, because it challenges all of us. I'll show you how to do that, and it'll give you some peace of mind and a good night's sleep.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bernie. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I look forward to sharing more amazing experts that are championing
God
this
bless you
movement.
guys.
God bless you.